So that brings us to the A3 challenge. Now, the A3 challenge is a personal information card. There are basically 3 steps to this. Okay. 1, we're going to create a blank dictionary or list. You can use either one, I don't care. I'm going to show you a similar activity with both right now. You're going to get the user information and store it in a collection, in a dictionary or the list that you created. And then you're going to create an F string. This is kind of just one step, honestly, because the placeholders are actually going to be references to the dictionary or list. So you're going to use an F string with placeholders for the fields to insert that in. So let's talk about this. Let's go through this. What's that? Somebody say something? Oh, I thought I heard a question. So I'm going to start out with a list. So I'll call it L data, just because it's going to be my personal data. I'll do it for a business. You're going to make a personal information card. I will make a business. So I'm going to create an empty list. Right now, it's a list with 0 items. I just created it so that I have a place to put stuff. Now, how do I get information from a user? If I want to ask the user, what is your business name? You said it back there? Input. Input. Now, I could say str biz name equals input, enter the biz name, right? I could say that. And whatever the user types would go into this variable. In fact, let's just start out that way. So I'm going to say str biz address and str biz phone. Okay. So now I have those 3 questions, and these are going into those fields, those variables. Now, if I want to put those variables into my list, so it's a list, and I want to add those variables into that list. What method would I use? What list method? Not quite. It's a list method. Append. That's right. So I have li or ldata dot append biz name, biz address, and biz phone. So I'm really breaking this out for you. There's a faster way to do it I'm going to show you in a minute, but I'm going to break it out so you can really see the steps here. So I've got the list. I'm going to gather the information and store it in variables. Then I'm going to add the value of each of those variables to that list. So if I print my list right now, print ldata, let's see what this does. So I've got enter biz name, fills store, biz address, 123 main, phone. Okay, so there is my nice clean list with my data stored in the list. Nice. Yes.
What is the function in those 3 lines?
What's that?
What is the function in the 3 lines?
You mean here?
Yeah,
Append?
yeah.
Append is what we use to add items to a list. That just adds this, whatever's in here, it adds it to the end of the list. Okay. So now that I've got that list put together, I'm going to create an F string that injects those list items into a sentence. So I'm going to say str Output. Why not? I don't want that. No thanks, AI. I'm going to use F and triple quotes like this. Okay, so a triple quote means that I have a multi-line string, so I can format this the way I want. And F just means that I'm going to make an F string, which allows me to input those things. So I have business name, business address, and business phone. And maybe I say something like, here is my business information. And maybe I want to do like a little decorative line here like this. So now, if I print that output, okay, so I've got, let's review. I create my list on line 1. Then I gather the information from users and I put it into variables. Then I take those variables and I append them. I add them to the end of the list. So I add the business name, the business address, and the business phone. Now I commented that out, so this doesn't do anything right now. It just gets ignored. And then here, I'm formatting my output. So I'm taking, except for one thing, I don't want to use my strings to print that out. I actually want to use LData 0, LData 1, and LData 2. There we go. It's the same data, but what I want to be doing is getting that information from my list, not from these. So I want to use the list because in a second, I'm going to combine these two steps. Okay, so I'm going to combine these 6 lines into 3. So data is getting printed here. Now you can see once again, this is where a dictionary would be probably a little bit more useful. So I'm going to show you how to convert this to dictionary instead in just a minute, because data 0, data 1, data 2 doesn't really mean anything to me. And then finally, I print that output. So let's run this. It'll store 1, 2, 3 main. Okay, so here is my completed card with the output that I typed in. And go, let's make sure we are on do not disturb. There we go. All right, so this program is unnecessarily long, and it's a waste of time for me to put these in variables and then put these variables into the list, because what I can do is I can take this input and put it directly into my list by nesting the input inside the append. Watch. So I'm going to take these, and I'm just going to take that, because look, all I'm doing is saying, take this, put it in this container. Take it out of this container, put it into here. Why am I just not putting it in the container where it belongs in the first place? So I'm going to take this and put it in place of this here. So now, I actually don't need that. Okay, so I'm going to leave both up here so you can compare the two. This is the original with address. I'm getting the address, putting it into the address variable, and then putting the address variable inside append. But it's easier if instead I just put input straight into the append. I'm nesting there. So I'm putting my input function inside the append method so that whatever input returns just gets put straight into the list. This is a much more succinct way to do it, and that's always a good thing, because in the end, that means a lot less typing. So if I was building this program from scratch, this is how I would do it. So this does the exact same thing, but with fewer lines of code. So remember, whenever I nest a function inside a function or a function inside a method, it always does the innermost one first. So first it asks the input. Whatever the user types goes to ldata.append, which means append puts it into our list. So when I run this, I have business name, man, typing is hard today, biz address, and biz phone. Okay, so there's that. You see it works the same way. Now, that is how I would do it with a list. Okay, now watch as I convert this to a dictionary-based program. It's not going to be very difficult, but it is going to be more useful and more readable. First thing I want to do is, instead of an empty list, I want to create a dictionary, and we'll call it ddata. So I'm going to do a copy, and this is a good instance for find and replace here. If I can figure out how to make that work. Find, replace, there we go, Command R. LData gets replaced with D data. Okay, all the way through my program, replace all. Okay, so now all of those are referring to my dictionary. Dictionary does not have append, right? Dictionary does not have append. How do I add to a dictionary? I specify the key, right? So my key just needs to make sense. So ddata name equals, and I don't need the extra parentheses. Oops, I do need to have my quotes match each other though. So now, instead of append, because append doesn't work with a dictionary, I'm specifying the exact key that this will go into. So whatever the user enters here becomes the business's name. And now we finish out the other two lines by doing the same thing. So we've got ddata address equals, and then, bless you, ddata phone equals, and then down here, now I am using name, address, phone. So that's the same program. It will do the exact same thing from the user perspective, but now I'm using a dictionary. I feel like in this case, a dictionary is a better fit because it's easy to see what exactly I'm putting where. It's easy to sort of connect those dots mentally. So there are cases when a list is better. This is a case when maybe the dictionary is better. So for your assignment, you're doing something similar to this, but what I'm looking for is 3 or 4 pieces of information that you would find on a personal business card. Probably your name, address, maybe phone number, email address. You can choose whatever you want. 3 pieces of information that you'd find on a personal business card. And you're going to get that information from the user. You're going to add it to either a list or a dictionary. And then you are going to have a formatted output string that looks something like this. It doesn't have to look exactly like this. Use your imagination, do what you want. But I used an F string with triple quotes and triple quotes surrounding it so that I could format it like this and also directly inject those values from the dictionary into the output. Okay, so these are the critical pieces of what I'm going to look for to make sure that you understand how to use either a list or a dictionary in this assignment.